And for her, she says, oh, yes, those spray bottles to spray on ourselves as we walk around because we are so unaccustomed to the wonderful, but, to the wonderful Floridian
Yeah.
environment and
Yeah.
climate. But, here they are putting their money away a little each month so they can get back there. And
It's well worth it.
it is
Especially when it gets
all
cold in the
worth
north.
it. Robert, where are you? Where are you sitting?
Where am I sitting? I'm actually sitting in my
No,
office.
no.
So, but yeah.
Oh,
No, but
you
I'm in
you
Cary,
are
North
in your
Carolina.
office. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm
Oh,
in Cary, North
Carolina.
Carolina. Yeah, in the
North
Carolinas,
Carolina.
exactly. But I'm a fellow native New Yorker like Sherry up there.
Really, where from in New
From
York?
Long Island. Long Island.
Of course, I know Long Island well. Friends
Yeah,
from
there you
there.
go.
My brother lives in Manhattan.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'm from,
Yeah.
we grew up in the Catskills.
Oh, in the Catskills. Oh, that's beautiful. There you go.
Wow.
That's like a different state.
Yes, well, everyone thinks New York City.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's so beautiful up there.
Most of it's rural, but most people don't think.
Yeah, don't realize it. Exactly.
Yeah.
No, yes. The majority of Oregon is high desert, quite dry, guaranteed snow off and on all winter.
Wow.
But most people think rainy, green, mossy, moldy. just an hour that way and no more moss, or at least not the wet kind. And Bernice, I haven't given you half a chance. So Bernice, tell us where you're coming from and try to guess why you are live right now on Aspects of Aging. Try to guess why I invited you on. I bet you there's more than one reason behind the reason that Bernice Hunt was invited to be on Aspects of Aging today. So Bernice, where are you?
I am in sunny Southern California. So guys, that's why you don't see turtlenecks on me or any of that. I'm kind of like Dr. Ali. I don't know how warm it is there, but we were having a little rain recently, but it's back to the sunshine. Spring has sprung. And so I'm excited to be here. I'm a California girl, so I was born and raised here. So I don't know a lot about all the temperature changes everywhere else, but I'm good. And Aspects of Aging, when I saw that title, that kind of, to me, fit in with me because I'm a brain health specialist. And so a lot of people that approach me are approaching their golden years or in their golden years, are worried about what's going on, changes that are happening in their body as they're aging. So to me, it kind of fit, but I don't know your reason.
Wow. Yes. For me, I was a caregiver. I was hired to be a caregiver by different families. For a season, I worked under a company that sent me into homes. So I didn't work in what I call hallways. I wiped off my feet on the welcome mat, asked if I should take my shoes off. I never wore scrubs. I just came in and, I was an invader, but an invited invader. And I got to witness entire families and troops of specialists and maybe accompanied to a haircut, off to the grocery store. So I was in over 90 different homes during those years, but I was around thousands of different people interacting with my client in different ways, whoever it was that I was offering assistance to. And I realized that it isn't, maybe I was hired because there was a recent crisis, or somebody just needed a hand. And that somebody could have been even younger than me. that had just been shouldering more than they could sustain. And so I got to watch not just my client deal with aspects of aging. Could have been issues. It could have been the clever ways they were having victory over something, or jumping over a hurdle of some sort, but also the aging of maybe their own kids and how they were looking toward their own aging. And so, my clients, it may have been deep in dementia when I was brought in. It may have been at mild cognitive impairment, not able to navigate a problem that they used to be able to navigate. And sometimes I just saved energy for what they really wanted to do. So I became the extra pair of arms or legs, or the extra pair of eyes, so that they could get on to what they really wanted to do. And of course, companionship. So I just thought, it isn't the problems of aging. It's just maybe the one neighbor who keeps sticking their nose in at the door going, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And they're just like, "We hired you so that neighbor doesn't keep coming over to see what's wrong with me. Good grief. I'm just not out in the yard as much anymore. So you just let them know you got this covered, and then we'll do what we're doing." I don't know. I just really, really enjoyed all that. But I was asked questions mostly by their families I didn't have the answers for. Is there a support group for this? Is there something to keep my loved ones safer in the bathroom? Is there some place that we could go that of that would accommodate whatever's going on with us? It's just, because we're getting kind of bored with the 5 places we can go, whatever it was. And I wished I'd had a big, long list of answers. That, Bernice, is why you and everyone else comes on to this show every Wednesday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, so that I don't have to know all the answers. I invite those who do. So, Bernice, there's a lot of words after your name because I just do most of my hunting on LinkedIn, finding these people who have innovated or are cleverly dealing with their own aging challenges or aging challenges of someone they care about. So, Bernice, what do you do? Why would people, who is it that's going to be watching that's going to say that they are just so glad that they met Bernice today? What do you do?
Well, what I do is I get to help people take better care of their brains. And so I just give them information and support and suggestions and connections, all those kind of things, so that they can take better care of their brain at whatever stage of life they're in and whatever, is going on at the moment. And so I have a lot of people, especially, with the COVID thing and long COVID and all those kind of things, have a lot of younger people than I expected, coming on and wanting to know, about, brain fog and all of that. And then I also have, like you say, the family members of people that are, have been diagnosed with some form of dementia, Alzheimer's or something, and they want to know. And that's how I got started. When you were sharing, I was reminiscing about how I got started in this, because there was an episode that my husband Oliver had when he contracted sepsis because of a kidney infection, and he went to sepsis, and he got into the hospital because of the sepsis, and they had to deal with the sepsis before they even were really dealing with the kidney issue, because the sepsis had gone to his brain. And so I got to see, just for a really relatively short period of time, what it was like to have someone that you love and we're living with have a broken brain, and what could you do, and how traumatic it was, of course, to that person, but also to those surrounding that person, in terms of how they could deal with it and what they could do and things. And so that got me really thinking. I was already a wellness coach, but I hadn't really, got it so much into the brain. I mean, who does, to be honest? People don't usually think about the brain until something happens to their brain or to someone around them. They're thinking about their heart, thinking about their kidneys, they're thinking about their obesity, all of that, but they don't really they just take the brain for granted until something starts happening. So I delved really deep into that, and that's how I became a brain health coach, because I wanted two things. I wanted to help people, on the preventative end, because you don't want to experience some of the things, that a lot of people are experiencing. You want to age gracefully. Yes, we're going to have, our memory is going to, get more challenged as we age, and our body, of course, things are going to happen naturally with age, but you're going to have to age. You love to age gracefully as you go, and you want to be able, like I tell people, about adapting to the season that you're in, because someone's, telling me about their memory and things. I said, okay, well, there's some things, lifestyle changes you can make, but you also can do some practical things, like just get in the habit of writing, making your list, checking it twice, that kind of thing, and do some things that are for that season of your life, instead of stressing over the fact that can't memorize those things that you used to or whatever, And so that's really how I got into it. And so I just really enjoy being able to share with people on both ends, people that are not yet having issues really, but either have awakened to the fact that it is an epidemic, and as I proceed in life, things may change or whatever. So let me do all I can to be preventive. And also the people that are starting to have some things that show them how they can help remediate some of those things, or at least make it easier for them to live a quality life.
Oh, marvelous. Both Ollie and Robert have been on a different live program, Abby Ritchie Tech Tuesday. And here's Dr. Ollie going, I'm going to be piggybacking off of some of what Bernice has been saying. Yesterday, Abby Ritchie had someone on who specifically said, and writing, and it's same thing. What ought you to be doing that maybe you've put that aside because school years are over, or maybe you've been out of, you're done with your job, whether you're calling it retirement or not, and just expressing your thoughts in a form that causes you, just writing or typing. I'm not sure if there's a difference, and maybe Dr. Ollie could say something about that. But I know some people are like, oh, use blue ink and it, just let thoughts flow out of you. Don't worry about journaling or that anyone's going to see it. You can make it go away when you're done, but do write. And that was something that you were saying, write your list and check it twice. That made me think of her show yesterday. Dr. Ollie, what does that, anything that she said or anything that you were prepared to talk about today? I'm going to go ahead and just kind of gracefully go up the screen to you. And thank you, everyone, for making this a priority today. I'm really grateful.
Absolutely. Actually, there's a lot. I've been taking notes, speaking of writing. So, Bernice, what you're doing is incredible. I am so glad you're spending your time helping people understand how to stay healthy, how to stay brain healthy, and how to get ahead of problems, how to start thinking about their brain before. Because like you said, people don't think about their brain very much. And I think you could benefit from that, not from a memory, cognitive perspective, just in life. Like, we should be thinking more about our brains. Like, how did I have that thought? Or how did I figure this out? Or how did I forget this? Or am I remembering this correctly? There's a lot to the brain that, is functioning it seems like behind the scenes. It just seems this black box and everything, and you don't know what's going on in there. You only see the things that come out. So everybody could benefit, I think, from thinking more about their brains, not just memory-wise, just emotionally, socially, just pick any aspect of life. A couple things that I thought were particularly cool were how you guys were actually talking about how writing is helpful to, stay brain healthy. It's not just a matter of in my opinion, just writing things down in the sense that it's a more of a memory device, like so you don't forget, but more in the sense that when you're writing things down, you're organizing your thoughts, and that's super valuable. So, Christine, you mentioned like we were in school and we would write essays, right? We would write about stuff, we'd take notes, we'd organize our thoughts on a daily basis, and that becomes just part of our regular day, like presumably 6 to 8 hours a day. That's what we're doing, like homework and going to classes. Then suddenly that ends, you're in the real world, and you might not be doing that on a regular basis. You might be, and then you retire. Then even if you were doing it, you're probably not doing it anymore. It's more often than not. So I see writing as a way to organize our thoughts and a way to kind of stay in the habit of thinking in terms of the beginning, middle, the ends, reasoning. For example, I used to take a lot of math courses in college, and especially after grad school, I'm not doing math as much anymore. Right now, most of my time is spent, helping seniors or web development, developing our platform. So I noticed that even my arithmetic is not as good as it used to be. So because I'm not doing it on a regular basis anymore, I'm spending most of my time with, just whatever web development is involved, and it's not the most exciting part of the job. But that's a great point. I really think people say the brain is like a muscle, and obviously physically that's not true, but from conceptually it is true. The more you do things that are in line with the kind of things you want to accomplish in life, the stronger a position you're in to do well at them. So if you want to be good at memory, you should think about how to improve that and work on that realm. If you want to be better at organizing thoughts, you should be writing, you should be reading more. So I'm definitely behind this whole idea of, doing things to keep yourself fresh, not just, because that's what you happen to be doing or that's what's on the schedule today. Just sit down and just write and read and do things you enjoy and engage. So those are my thoughts. I thought it was very interesting. So I so appreciate what Bernice is doing. In fact, when we started MemoryCo, my company, that's basically what we were doing. We were trying to help people one-on-one with their memory problems, especially on the heels of either epilepsy or early onset dementia. So that's how we started the company at the beginning. I was going to people's homes, just like you, Christine, asking if I should take my shoes off, asking if they needed anything else before we started with them, and found ways to help them.
Oh my goodness. There was something you said just a few moments ago about organizing, that it's so important to organize your thoughts. And Sherry has been writing away as we've been going, and we've a couple of us have talked about school. And I know that I started watching or started checking on Sherry's blogs and then receiving her newsletter and keeping up on just everything. I mean, her attitude, what she does for students who would like to continue being students who are looking at a higher education. I've already gotten it wrong what state she lives in, but apparently I was right there. She smiles that she was a New Yorker. And it's just, it's like, ooh, Catskills, but, she's got a brother in Manhattan, just all these conversations. So Sherry, am I right that you help people to move on from high school into their next educational arena? Is that right?
Yes, you are so
Okay,
right.
Good.
And I have been taking notes on what other people are saying. So I'm a quadriplegic. I was injured when I was 16. So I'm paralyzed from the my midsection down. And I find it so interesting to hear the conversations about aging and preparation, because one thinks of someone in a wheelchair as someone older. But there are many, many, many individuals that have aspects of, quote, aging, what you would expect later in life, earlier in life. Either they're born with a disability or, like me, an acquired disability. And we live with caregivers who I call the key to my quality of life. If they don't help me get up, I can't do what I'm going to talk about, helping others. And so also the body ages differently. You're not up walking around, so you can't have the same exercise as others. So it's very important to move and find ways to do what you can and stay healthy. Eating a healthy diet is incredibly important because you don't want to eat junk food all the time because you can't really burn it off. So that's important. And really what's important, I'm an attorney and I worked for the federal government for 25 years before I've moved on to my next venture, which I'll talk about. But it's also important to put your health first. And I think that's not just your physical health, it goes all the way to your brain. When you are so busy all the time, your brain is working nonstop at work, your body is going. You say, tomorrow I'll stop during the day and make that appointment. And the day goes by and it's 5 o'clock. Oops, the doctor's closed. So the list I'll call tomorrow. And what happens is your health becomes secondary and your work becomes primary. And that is backwards. And it is, if you don't keep up your health, you're not going to be able to do your work. And I, did it wrong for a long time. I'm willing to admit it. I put all my energy, which is limited. You learn that as you get older, into my work, and I got sick many times until the red flag went up and said, you're going to have to change. And that's when I left. I retired, quote, retired from my job and reinvented myself with my husband, like you. And we started our own business called Happy on Wheels. And one of the things that we do that I love doing, I had interns at work that I just loved working with. I find young people energize me. They give me hope. And I love sort of mentoring them along the way. And the arena that I got myself into, given my skills of writing and working with interns, is I work with students that are in high school, going to college, on their college applications, on their college essays. I also work with grad students who are figuring out, do I want to go to law school? Do I want to go to grad school? Do I want to do a fellowship? And their applications. And in addition, I work with individuals who may be at different stages of their lives who want to change their career path. And how do they change their resume based on what they were doing to reflect a new path they want to go on because they're tired of what they're doing, or maybe for lifestyle reasons they want to change. So I do all of those things. And I really think that helping others, I also do a lot of disability advocacy, especially in the arena of healthcare and preventative care for people with disabilities, really encouraging them to take care of themselves. And I'm also a breast cancer survivor. So I really encourage individuals to take care of that. So I think it is incredibly important to think about health holistically, and that includes the brain. And it's very, very important. And I'm so honored to be here with you as a caregiver who, as someone who has caregivers, they are just critical to life. And you do enter the home and the family, and you are the key to how I can run my day and help it make run better. And what others on this, that your guests are doing, are all critical for brain health. So thank you so much for having me.
Wow, I am so encouraged. Do you meet with your people on Zoom? Is it?
Yes, I now some are local, and if they would like to meet in person, I will. Some just like to have coffee, and chat about the work they've done, but the majority of my clients are all over the country. So we always do a Zoom meeting. I want to see the person. I want to see what they look like. I want to hear them, see their facial expressions before we move to more of an online exchange of documents. And we may stop and I may say, we've exchanged enough emails. Let's talk. So yes, technology has made it much easier to have a broader reach, but also to really get a feel for people. I mean, here we are all looking at each other, and it's so much different than not seeing each other. So, yes.
Wow, your legal background. I mean, there's like this great big badge of credibility for someone going, should I work with this person? And it's like, oh, she really understands, the dynamics of life and how much research needs to go in and how you do need to advocate for yourself, but also have someone who advocates for you. And I just think of the excitement when someone goes, I get to work with Sherry. This is great.
I
Not
hope
just,
so.
I'm going to say, not just somebody who really wants to help, but somebody who has seen life from so many perspectives, knows what it's like to go even through the process of getting that degree. Plus, I'm just thrilled because after all those years of just reading your newsletter, I get to talk to you. So there is an ulterior motive for when I invite people on. I'm like, I want to talk to them. And then I get to have a recording of it and see, there I am. I actually talked to them. Oh, this is so great. Robert, there is one area that I don't remember us really touching on yet during this first half hour. And it is something I just joined. I finally joined an organization, a bigger organization, because I wanted to be with other people who think like me and actually maybe accomplish something with them instead of just asking them to come and share on my screen. So I joined the Oregon Gerontological Association. I have to slow down on gerontological. It uses all the muscles in my face. And their next conference, which will be on Zoom, it'll be a series of Fridays in October. They are concentrating on both engagement and isolation. And I think that is this perfect vehicle. I want all of my people to be part of this conference, but I know that they have to keep in these parameters for CEUs and people having the right background, etc. So I keep suggesting people, and we'll see. I'm new. I mean, like 2 months I've been part of this, maybe 1.5. And so I keep thinking, oh, who else can I find that they might have be part of this 4 Friday morning conference on isolation and engagement, loneliness, etc. Boy, do you speak to this. So tell us about Thrive Pavilion. It's like, ooh, I want to go there. Is it an exercise place? Is it, where is this place? And I'm saying it that way on purpose because I know where it is.
Yeah, sure. No, I appreciate it. And certainly I appreciate you having me go last because I did take notes. And there's some ties, I think, to everything that everybody was talking about. So the Thrive Pavilion is a community for older adults that is based in the metaverse or in social virtual reality. And it really was started, we started it back in 2022, kind of on the heels of the pandemic, of the work that I had done inside of senior living, and kind of realizing there's still a lot of adults that are living at home that remain isolated for various reasons. Some actually are caregivers. So they're not, let's say, the patient themselves, but they are the caregiver. Either they are at home taking care of a spouse who might be immunocompromised or might have memory problems. So they themselves are isolated because of their caregiving responsibilities. And there's lots of reasons, I think, as we all know, of why an older adult may be isolated. So we started the Thrive Pavilion really as an experiment inside of virtual reality to see, can we build human connection and give older adults the opportunity to socialize with other older adults from their homes using very inexpensive technology that's commercially available, that you can buy at Best Buy for relatively a low amount of money. For about $250, you can own one of these headsets, and then participate in activities in a community that we focus our activities on the 6 different aspects of areas of wellness. So certainly things like intellectual aspects are important as well. For example, we do a lot that from an intellectual perspective that has to do with memory, whether it's games like trivia games or playing Family Feud, or we actually go to Wheel of Fortune and play those types of games on the actual Wheel of Fortune set. Some of the other intellectual things and this really just kind of evolved, right? We started as like, was anybody going to show up? And, here we are 2 years later with like 1,000 members, which is incredible. Wow. This Sunday, our theater group, believe it or not, a theater group, people wanted to put on performances. So they did a 20-minute version of Hamlet at the Globe Theater, just like crazy things. When you think about like memory, like there's an activity of learning the lines and doing the performance and things like that. So it's really just an incredible use of my background is a technology person, but the how can you use these types of new technologies that are so immersive because they put you in a place. They put you in a place with other people and you're sharing that same experience to make those human connections that can be difficult for various reasons, where somebody may be isolated at home, whether they are a patient, like we have people that have MS, that are double amputees, that live just rurally, their social circle has diminished, or they're caregivers, and really find some common ground to do things with others and build some friendships and connections inside of this community.
So I have all these curiosity questions. I'll start with,
sure.
These people are using their voice. Mm-hmm. Even though it's similar to what I recall from 15 years ago, doing WII, mm-hmm. with my children, who at that time were younger and littler than me, mm-hmm. At Grandma and Grandpa's house, they are using their voices. Is that correct?
Yeah,
they
so you're
hear
using
each other.
Voices, your body motion, if I want to, like here we are on the screen, but we could be having this talk actually around a conference table. So we have like a book club that meets every month. So we're in a room and we all sit around and discuss the book, and Bernice may be sitting next to me. So I would turn to my left and I have a conversation with Bernice, and we would look at each other as computer generated avatars. And that's how the interaction is. So computers now are so powerful and so inexpensive that you can be immersed in a three-dimensional alternate reality, a virtual reality that, at least to your brain, it feels very real, and it is real. It's just not. It's not like you're tricked, but the experience that one has from an emotional perspective is really very similar to the experience you may have if you're with somebody in the physical world. And we have people that have made, one woman commented recently that she's made her best friend that she has in like 40 years, because now, she has, access to this community and has made new friends through this community, because she's no longer really able to get to socialize as much as she can in the physical world because of, she's worried about infection or things like that. She's in her 80s, right? So she just recently lost her husband. She also just recently had a very serious respiratory infection. So she's really now very concerned about going out and like interacting with people that she doesn't know. So here's a great way for her to socialize from the comfort of her home, but not lose connection with other people.
Wow. A person for every reason
Yeah,
that's
there really is.
feeling
Yeah.
neglected,
Mhm.
vulnerable, reluctant.
Mhm.
There's so many reasons why that will happen. It's like I fell in public.
Mhm.
I felt really embarrassed, stuff. And here not just, well, this is all I'm ever going to do again. It can be a first phase of phasing back into
Yep.
society. If
Yeah.
you will never be able to
Mhm.
do everything you used to do. Oh my goodness. To have that metaverse. I'm excited. I'm talking about
Yeah.
the metaverse. I've
It
thought
is.
that
Yeah.
through a lot because of one gentleman, Matt Rouse, who gave us this whole thing about Bitcoin and all this stuff. And I'm just
Mhm.
like, so how could that fit? Oh, I would love it if families could come together in a metaverse room that's private to
Mhm.
them and be able to say, I've experienced another aspect of aging and I feel comfortable talking to you all right now instead of you looking at me because I don't know why I passed out. I have a big bruise on my
Mhm.
face. So I'm here in the metaverse looking just fine, feeling more confident to tell my family, let's go through my documents again. And I'm ready to say that. It's different than a phone call. It's different
Mhm.
than you yourself. It may be more comfortable. And as time goes on, people are just going to be used to that. My husband does things kind of virtually when he's gaming. My son,
Mhm.
is listening to his friends as they're gaming, and they have all chosen which guy they are. So as 20 somethings and as 60 somethings continue to age, wow, what a difference.
Yeah.
There are two people. So Nick is Scott had her comments on the screen for a moment there, and she's waving as well at me, but just saying hello to everyone. And Nick has been in a little bit of this kind of conversation with me recently because I'm thinking about I have been thinking about putting together a different kind of book that would include other people, and we would all be talking on a theme together. And so she's like giving so much encouragement. And then Inger, she's up in Canada, does not like video, might like metaverse. And I always say up in Canada. My daughter always says we're going to go down to Washington. I don't know. But anyway, she doesn't like video, but she does it anyway because it's important. Her show is partly radio and partly video live, and she does Wonder Women Wednesday. So we have some wonderful Wonder Women on today. Inger, Bernice, Sherry. Um, big hint. So I am just grateful to Nick and Inger for jumping in on the chat and saying hello to everyone. Let's see. Thank you for curating this amazing panel of wisdom, she says. And up in Canada, where I haven't been in a long time. goodness, I get all excited about all these people. Robert, you were talking about, oh, I know. Here's my curiosity questions for you. Could a person participate in this if they are sight impaired?
We do have some people that actually are sight impaired. There are several members that have lost sight in one eye. I think their initial reaction was that, well, this is 3D and I don't see three-dimensionally, so am I going to get something from it, right? And I think what they do get is, even though it's a 3D technology, is they do get the social interaction, right? So that's the real benefit versus just the 3D nature of it, right? We're very much focused on that human connection. Certainly so there are people that definitely have various levels of sight impairment. Like any technology, it doesn't always work for everybody. But I think the good news is, with any technology, it is as bad as it's going to be today, and then it always gets better, right? So it's the worst it's ever going to be right now. So just if given time, it'll get better, and will be able to be used by more and more people, is the way that I look at it. And certainly it's very helpful to a lot of people now. But you have to make that determination yourself if you may have trouble using your hands or significant sight impairment. It may not be yet ready for you.
Wow. Yes, I like that. The thought that you've developed an incredible platform, and as someone else sees, I want to continue to participate in this, but I also know I have macular degeneration. Well, here it is. Here's a purposeful moment where I can seek out some other innovators and figure out maybe something I can do at home that will help me to continue to participate. Thank you, Robert. I put you on the spot with that one, and you were just very gracious about it. So I am so grateful. We're not at the end, but we're close enough that I'm going to make sure that everyone gets a chance to say, and my husband, D. Scott Smith, motivational listener, is also the one who makes all these shows possible. He's the one that talked me into everything media-wise and being on screen and reaching out to people. Because when I said, I would like to teach a seminar at a senior center, and I don't know if he smiled at that moment, but in my memory, he was like, this could go a lot further if you would be willing to explore social media. No, I'm never going to do any of that. And I wouldn't have met any of you if I hadn't broken free. He actually gave me a mug that said brave and had a heart on it. And I said, I will not use it until I am willing to get on a screen with someone. So now I use it all the time. This is what I'm going to plug for me. I wrote 2 books. This book, again, my husband said that article you wrote for LinkedIn could be expanded. So it comes from being a caregiver who loses a client, which I never said client. That was my person. I didn't say their names. I always was privacy. And, but how a hired caregiver can go through grieving, but also the types of grieving. There's kind of like pre-grieving and re-grieving. There's a grief that comes along with knowing that this person doesn't recognize you anymore, that used to be such a part of your life. You're anticipatory grieving. So care griever, it is really hard to tap into it. So go to my website, agingbetternetwork.com, and you will see that it ends with something like waffles, like WFFLS or something. And just click on that and you'll be able to get to it, because our wonderful technology keeps correcting. You mean caregiver? Nope, I really mean caregiver. And then along the lines of aging and all that I learned from the families, from the specialists, from my clients themselves, I packed it into 52 very general but very common aspects of aging. Everything from why am I being disregarded just because my outward appearance is different than it was 10 years ago or something. Everything from that to, wow, aren't I a little too old to be raising my grandchildren or great grandchildren? Things that can be on the horizon. And just the prompted journal causes a person to use their emotional intelligence to create relational resilience ahead of a crisis. That's enough of me. So I would like to, let's go in kind of backwards order. Robert, how about you? How would you like for people to get a hold of you? Probably my best way is agingbetternetwork.com. And of course, on LinkedIn, I am Christine Smith, so that you can find me amongst all the other Smiths. So how about you, Robert? Oh, and you may still be muted.
Okay, now I'm unmuted. Yeah, so really the best way to reach me or to reach the Thrive Pavilion is at our website. It's thrivepavilion.org. I see that it's down there at the bottom. We're a nonprofit organization. Our activity calendar is up there. It's really free for any older adult to participate in. We're supported by some grants, some private contributions, corporate sponsors, things like that is what keeps the mission going. But if you happen to be an older adult that might find this intriguing and looking to connect with other adults, or you're a caregiver or a family member of an older adult, this is a great place to start to learn about Thrive and all that we do.
Wow. And if you're not an older adult, you will be older next year and the year after. Why not get ahead of it? And I noticed that there was another contact link that said president.
Yeah. So that's my email address. So certainly if you get president at thrivepavilion.org, I'm not running for president, not yet, but
no, you already are.
Yeah, right. So that's my email address. If you want to reach me directly and personally, that's my email address.
Honestly, you're at your office today. Your background is quite presidential. I think it's just very honoring. So that I mean that in an honoring way.
Yes, my fellow older adults.
Yes, my fellow older adults. I love it. Oh goodness. Oh, what order did I go in? Dr. Ali, are you prepared to go next?
Oh, sure. I think I shared my contact information. Basically, we have an engagement platform that has games and activities to help activity directors, mostly in senior living, organize activities, play games together, share different personalized content games with the residents. So that's one of the cool things that we do is we do have games that are similar to Wheel of Fortune, Family Feud, Jeopardy, and the card matching game, for example. But one cool thing you can do with them is actually you can upload personalized content. So my background is in memory, and the human brain cares a lot about things that are familiar. So when you're playing, I don't know, I'm sure you heard of the card matching game, match apples to apples or cat to cat. So instead of those, you can actually upload pictures of residents that you work with and their names. So they're matching these names together and they're learning these names better. And one of the cool things about Robert's company is they play memory games in a virtual reality setting. And the memory cares a lot about space, where things are or where you are. So we're just taking what I've learned from my background as a neuroscientist, and applying it to a place where people with the highest concentration of potential memory problems are living. So we're making it fun, we're making it engaging, and we're helping out activity directors at the same time. So that's what we're about.
Well, I just got smarter. So memory cares about space.
Yes,
There's a
yes.
different neuro growth that
Yeah.
will happen
Well,
when it's like where it was near the upper left. It was, there it is.
the temporal lobe.
Wow.
Yeah. So what we find more and more is, it's a special type of memory. It's not every memory. Remembering my name might not have, or remembering a fact about who was the first president, whatever, might not have a space associated with it unless there's a special space you learned it in that could be associated with it. But most of our lives, we talk about memory. We mean what we call episodic memory. So episodic memory is an episode in your life. So when you say memory, you're thinking, where was I? Who was with me? What did I feel like? What did I smell? What did I hear? So all of that has a lot to do with space. And that's the cool thing about VR, for example, is you can put people in the same space they learned something, and suddenly they could remember it better. And even for our website, it's not a virtual reality environment. I pay very close attention to the page they're in, what kind of colors there are, what kind of layout is there, how can I help people retain this information even though they're playing a game. They're having fun, they're not working on their memory or anything. We pay close attention to this because the brain regions that are involved in memory are also involved in space, because these two things are very tightly interlinked. It's very hard to separate space and place from memory.
Wow. And that was just a really great nod to Thrive Pavilion too. Thank you, Dr. Ali. I am meeting with a gentleman just a trolley ride away. We have trolley buses. It's so fun. And he is a professor, 25 years, etc., has his own podcast, gerontology. And my husband said, oh, you should get his book before you go and meet with him. And I looked in the book and I was like, this is for children. And I tried doing some of the stuff in his book. And I haven't played bananagrams and, anagram things in so long. And I'm like, I'm lousy at this. What? I used to be great at this. I could see mixed up letters and I could put them into words, like, oh, this could actually be 2 or 3 words. And I'm going, I haven't used my brain that way in a while. So yay him for creating a book for adults that uses parts of our brain that I haven't used in a long time. Oh my goodness. Bernice, do you feel ready to remind us how we can get a hold of you and any finishing thoughts?
Oh, yes. The best way to reach me is through my website, keepyourbrainsharp.com. That's what my website, and because that's what I do, help you keep your brain sharp. You can also reach me. My email address, I don't know if it's up there, but there it is. It's just bernice.keepyourbrainsharp@gmail.com. And those are two good ways to reach me. And I just am excited. I'm so grateful that you invited me on this program, because this was wonderful to hear what everyone is doing. And I have a word that I have formed up to explain what I do. I call it what every brain needs. And with my programs that I do and on Facebook and all of that, I go through what I call the 5 keys to brain health, what everyone needs. And that's nutrition, exercise, engagement, definitely what Robert was talking about, de-stress, and which includes detoxing, and also sleep. And so I just try to coach people and encourage people to do the things that are going to help their brain in all of those areas, and to stop doing the things that are actually hurting their brains in all of those areas. And so we have a lot of fun with that. So I was excited to hear what everyone was saying, because it just seemed to fit in so nicely. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh, and thank you for reminding us to think about the thing that we do our thinking with, to think about our brain too, not just, okay, I've got my gut health, I've, my heartbeat, all these oximeters and stuff, and, how's my blood pressure? And it's like, brain, well, I don't know, it just functions, I guess. Nope, think about that thing that you think with. Oh, thank you so much. Sherry, you're going to finish us out. I've had a doctor and an attorney and a president and everything that Bernice is. Yay! She's a savior of people's thought processes. I've had everybody on today. My goodness. Go ahead.
Great. Well, my website is at the bottom of the screen. And I also run my business with my husband. He is sort of like God is to you. I don't know what I do with that. And when it comes to the technical side of things, so we do it together. So our website is happyonwheels with an S.com. I'm also accessible on LinkedIn, and you can reach me at Sherry, SHERI, which is just my first name on the screen, at happyonwheels.com. And I just want to say how grateful I am for you to have me on today. I was thrilled to read about the different services offered by those that you've had here today. And you've given me resources actually to share with individuals with disabilities, many of which are rural and also have conditions that are sensitive to being out in public, have transportation issues, and the issue of isolation is very real. And so I am so eager, Robert and Dr. Ali and Bernice, to share what you have to offer to individuals of all ages, those that are aging and those that are younger, and maybe it's more in the future, but they're dealing with the realities of what you talk about today, especially post-COVID. And, COVID isn't over, and there's always going to be something. But even if COVID is gone, there are realities of having conditions that make it difficult to get to a place where there's a lot of people. So I'm really thankful for that. And Christine, you have nudged me. I need a Brave mug, because one of my projects, which I don't work on enough, is a book that I'm writing. So I'm hopeful as I age and have more time, that project, I love the way you started. So this will bring us back to the beginning. College is done. As things finish, we're always dealing with the aging issues, right? We have to go to the doctor. We've got to keep up with our bodies and keep healthy. But we also need to keep stretching that brain and getting a little bit out of our comfort zone. And so that's my stretch. So it's been a pleasure. Anyone can reach me, young students, anyone who wants to, parents. I'm also a motivational speaker. Anyone who wants to talk about breast cancer, anyone that needs help with disability-related issues, accommodations, a whole host of things. I offer free consultations. So if you're not sure if I'm for you, we can meet on Zoom for 15 minutes and chat. So thank you for having me, and thanks to the people on your show. This has just been a wonderful use of an hour of time. Very, very useful.
Fantastic. Sherry spelled SHERI. Ollie is spelled ALI. Bernice is spelled like you would spell niece, as in nephew and niece. And Robert is spelled Robert. So there you go. But his last name is quite exotic too. And that's just for anyone who's just been listening in going, I can't find it. I can't find. Oh, That's it. I just need to spell it Signore. Now I can find him. Thank you so much, everyone. I'll wave goodbye because we are at the end of this wonderful hour. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Christine.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.